Thank you all for joining in. Good morning, good afternoon, and this is episode number 28, free Intune training provided by How to Manage Devices community. And since last few days, we've been seeing about CSP, Windows 10 CSP, OMA URI policies, and how to configure Windows Update, etc. Right? So today we are going to see something which is out of box, which is same like in the background it is using Windows 10 CSPs, but those configurations are available in Intune console, Intune portal, okay, as out of box, right? So for example, if I go to configuration profiles, right, the same place where we were config we were configuring the profiles yesterday, right, to disable and enable the Windows update and post button, etc., etc., right? Today we are going to see some of the policies which are coming out of box, right? We don't need to search for CSPs in that case. Like over here we can see like CSPs, right? CSP tree structure, and you need to find out the CSP over here like this. You need to find the CSP, right? So OMA URI, right? So that is not required for this kind of policies. This is kind of, these kind of policies are coming out of box, right? So let's check that out, right? So create profile. You click on create profile and select Windows 10, right? And select any of, we selected custom profile previously, right, to implement that OMA URI, etc., etc., policies, right? So so today we are not going to select that. We are going to go with the oldest profile which is available from probably day one in Intune, right? So you would be able to see if you select. There are a lot of profiles like this. These are all out of box profiles and templates available in Intune, right? You can see Wi-Fi, VPN, trusted certificate. You can deploy Wi-Fi profile. You can deploy VPN profile. You can deploy trusted certificate, etc., etc., right? So for example, if I click on Wi-Fi and say create, then I will provide a name, HTMD Wi-Fi, right? And this is the profile for HTMD Wi-Fi, okay? Then it will show you the default out of box configurations, right? So there are two options over here: basic configuration, like you can directly uh, provide the SSID name, right? And we can say like, okay, it's HDMD forum, right? So, and you can say like, oh, automatically connect. You want it to get connected automatically whenever it's near in the range, right? So these are the basic configurations available, right? And you can create the policies like this, right? And you can provide the uh, password, etc., etc., right, if you want. Those are kind of, these star marks are mandatory fields, right? If you hover over here, this is the actual description, so a short description of the policy, right, of the configuration, right? In the background, what is happening is it is configuring a Windows 10 CSP for you, okay, with all these values, right? We provided these kind of values, right? Enable 0 and disable 1 and integer, etc., etc., right? So in some of the policies they are configuring XML files in the background. Intune will help you to configure that, and that XML file will be sent to the client devices along with the CSP, right? and then once it is received or the policy is applied on the client, it will get the Wi-Fi profile, right? So that was just an example. So let's change it to enterprise, right? If it's an enterprise based, then probably you will be able to see a lot of other options, right, coming in place. You can say PMK caching, etc., etc., and you can say like you can you can say like certificate based authentication, etc., etc., over here in the Wi-Fi profile. So basically this is the template out of box available in Intune, right? So if you want to deploy Wi-Fi profile, you can do that, right? And same thing with other profiles also, right? If I go to Windows 10 or later, and if I say VPN, right? If you want to deploy a VPN profile to Windows 10 devices as part of your MDM enrollment, right? So that the device will automatically connect to your VPN and all the on-prem access will be enabled, right? So for that, you can deploy VPN profile through Intune, right? So this is VPN, HTMD VPN, and you would be able to see VPN profile test, right? You would be able to see automatic profile over here, right? So this is the template which is available for you to use directly rather than struggling with this type of policies, right? XML, trying to create a XML file for all these entries and etc etc, right? That is not exactly what Microsoft want us to do, right? Because it's pretty complex, right? If you want to, if you think about configuring a XML file for all these configurations, so that is going to be pretty complex, right? So that is why Microsoft provided as a out of box template to fill, and in the background Microsoft will automatically create an XML file along with the CSP. It will send across to all the Windows 10 devices. Okay, as per the assignment, right? Okay, so these are the details which you need to fill for VPN profile, right? Conditional access, DNS settings, certificates, etc., etc., right? So this is pretty decent configuration, or pretty um, nice configurations, or it's pretty complex as well, right? So all these values will get changed as per your um, VPN backend server as well, right? So, for example, some of the servers may need a connectivity as per this ring, right? So, these are the providers available at the moment, right? F5 is one of the provider, Citrix, and a lot of other providers are there, right? And if you are not familiar with this, um, probably we can cover this at a later stage, because this is pretty complex, so I don't want to cover it now. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the templates, right? So these are the out of box templates available in Intune, right? So same thing with all the other stuff, right? If you want to deploy profile or certificate, you can do that. PKCS certificate. If you I don't know how many of you attended Saurabh's session on SCEP and his PKCS, right? So he explained how it works and what are the backend servers which you need for these deployments, right? So these are like out of box templates available. This is endpoint protection and a template for endpoint protection and all the other stuff, right? Windows Defender ATP. So for example, if you want to configure Windows Defender ATP, my Windows Defender, if I can type Defender ATP profile one. So if I can say this, you would be able to see another out of box template available here, right? So you can onboard and offboard, right? Options are there, and what you mean by onboard and offboard, right? You can see over here, and this is the package which you need, right? So you can upload that package from here, right? Onboarding package, right? Onboarding file basically to over here, right? So this is the out of box templates which is available for ATP, right? Onboarding, right? Okay, so today today we are going to see, this is just an overview of all the profiles, right? All the out of box templates available in Intune, right? So this is pretty kind of stable now, because it's been there for years, many years now in Intune, right? This is not pretty new stuff, but Microsoft is adding or changing all the templates whenever, and enhancing the capabilities of each templates, right? When we started, VPN and Wi-Fi template was not this complex, or there were not this kind of many options, right? So now it is coming up with lot of options, right? If there is no option available in the out of box template, right, what we need to do, then we need to create a XML file ourselves, right? to 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 deploy that particular profile. Earlier we didn't had that F5 option. F5 is a VPN provider, right? So that option was not there. Then what we did is we created a XML file ourselves to implement that. And creating a XML file ourselves is pretty complex, right? We need to work with vendors and understand their configurations, and we need to go through vendor forums. Like for example, we went through like Wi-Fi forums and understand how we can configure, and then we uploaded that XML file, right, using the custom policy. So if you want to upload XML file, then we need to go to the same process, right? And then we need to kind of create text test. Okay, let me show it to you, right? Over here we have an option, right? XML file. So this is what we need to do if there is no out of box policy, but you have a Windows 10 CSP, then you can upload the XML file from here, right? This is the XML file, and this can be a custom policy, right? So that is what we used to do in earlier days of Intune, right? Where when there was no configuration, like um, uh, complex configuration available for all these things, right? Like VPN, Wi-Fi, etc. Now most of the configurations are available out of box, right? So we don't need to create or go through that creation of complex XML files, right, as per your requirement. So this is pretty nice stuff from Intune team. So let's go into the one which we want to kind of test today, right? So probably this is the simplest one, out of box one, right? And device restrictions, right? So this is kind of policies which you can deploy to Windows 10 devices, similar to group policies, right? For example, if you want to apply a password policy, right? For example, if you want to enforce a password policy for Windows 10 enrolled devices, this is the place where you can do it, right? Device restriction policies, right? I'm going to say HTMD password policy, right? Let's say password policy. Okay, and HTMD password policy out of box experience, right? You can deploy this password policy as a CSP, right? You would be able to see CSPs for password policy. So if you check over here in the link and search password, right? Password, if I can search, right, there would be some, yeah, device lock password policy. So this is the CSP which is being used in this particular policy, right? So this is the CSP, same thing. You can see scope and you can see everything similar to the previous CSPs which we used, right? So, but this is kind of an out of box experience which is provided by Intune, so you don't need to go through or struggle to find out all these CSPs, etc., right? So that is why they are providing this option within Intune console itself, right? If I click next, and you can see lot of configurations over here, right? Lot of things. The one thing I'm bit worried, or I'm a bit not exactly worried, but from a user experience perspective, right? There is no search option here, right? But it is easy to kind of find out where is the password policy over here, right? So there is a policy for our app store. If you want to block app store, you can go into this and enable that policy, right? For the password, this is the policy. But if I want to search something, then there is no search option here, right? Apart from find, even find will work, right? If I say password, right, it is getting me the password. But that is not optimal from my perspective. Okay, I don't know what you think. Okay, anyways, like let's go through one, right? App store, right? So if you open up app store, you would be able to see like lot of policies, right? If you see something mobile only, right, in Windows 10, then I that is for Windows 10 mobile devices, right? This might not work for Windows 10 workstations or laptops or desktops, right? This is not for Windows 10 OS, okay, operating system. This is only for Windows 10 mobile, okay. So earlier we used to manage Windows 10 mobiles also with Intune, right? I don't know how many of you use that feature and how many of you used Windows 10 phone, right? I'm a big fan of, I'm still a big fan of Windows 10 phone. I still have 940 XL or something. Microsoft 940 XL, I feel, I think, I don't remember the number exactly. Okay, so yeah, so these are the options for App Store. If you want to restrict App Store access from your Windows 10 machine, you can configure this thing only allow kind of private store, right? So you don't allow the public store from the device. It will only allow the private store, etc., etc., right? So a lot of out of box configurations are available over here. All the details, right? All the details about the policies are available in the documentation, like what are the policies, and what is the exact meaning of block, and what is the exact meaning of not configured, right, etc., etc., right? So I'm not going to configure App Store policy. As I mentioned in the policy name, I'm going to configure the password, right? So password policies. Okay, so it's password policy is also like a lot of things are there, right? Lot of policy configuration options are there, so you need to first of all understand from your security team, or from your yeah, probably from your security team or cyber defense team, what is the policy setting which they want to implement for Windows 10 MDM, right? So I will say require, and a password is required, right? Okay, password is required, and you can select alphanumeric or numeric. Password is fine. Normally I have seen alphanumeric, right? Numbers, password complexity, numbers and lowercase letters required, and there are other options also: numbers, lowercase, uppercase, special character. If you want to make the user's life hell, you can select the below one, right? Yeah, it's all about the security, right? Security team who is going to decide, right, on this point. Okay, so let's say numbers and lowercase. lowercase letters required, right? So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stay with the 4 letter password, right? Or I would say like six. Let's see, six, right? Sign in, number of sign in failures before wiping the device. This is interesting, right? I really don't know like whether this is going to work or not, right? I never tested this, right? But yeah, let's see. Number of, if you have some doubt over here, right, in the policy, what you can do, what I normally do is copy this and search in the documentation, right? What is the exact meaning of that, right? Number of sign, enter the number of wrong policy allowed. This is also used by CSP, right? So this is also depending on the edition of Windows which you are using, and all the complex scenarios are there, right? So there, you know, like there were five conditions required for uninstall feature updates, right? Similar to that, there would be like lot of conditions to do this also, right? So this is, you need to understand all these policies first, then only you would be able to configure it appropriately for your organization, right? I'm going to say like probably 15, right? Or yeah, then it will say like, no, no, 11 is the maximum allowed. Okay, fine, that's fine. Minimum inactive hours, sorry, inactivity until screen locks, right? Probably that is, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to configure it. I want to leave it as it is, right? That this is not my production environment, right? Password expiry. Yeah, 41 is fine. I don't want to expire my password in the lab, but anyways, enter, prevent reuse of previous passwords. Okay, this is another critical thing, policy I have seen in many organizations, right? I can't use 12 previous passwords or something like that, etc., etc., right? So maximum value allowed is 24, right? That is, I don't know, maybe 2 years sometimes, right? Or more than that. Okay, require password when device return from ideal state, right? So this is all the default configuration, so I'm not going to configure all those things, right? If you want, if you have a requirement, you can do that. And this is a good example, right? Simple password, yeah, you can disable simple password options, so you won't be able to, user won't be able to set up 111 123 and all, right? So this should work with the complexity of the password, right? Basically, this complexity of the password is the only star mark you can see, right? This is required, and the other, any of the other fields are not required. You need to notice that, so you can skip all the other configurations if you want, right? Windows Hello authentication, if you want to enable that, you can do that. Prefer Azure AD tenant domain, etc. Right? You can probably put your tenant name over here, right? So that will be kind of more secure kind of options, right? And you need to like enable user to sign in without typing the domain name, right? So that is also useful in some scenarios, right? You can just put the username rather than putting the entire email id, like at the rate something something.com, etc., etc., right? And if you are using a lab environment, then you need to use that on Microsoft dot something something, right? So that can be avoided, right? So I'm going to go with the default one. Only changes alphanumeric and number and lowercase letters required for the password, and I'm going to say next, right? The other templates, other options are similar to the custom policy, right, which we have seen yesterday. Scope tag, if you want, you can use that. Assignments, over here you can select which is a group which you want to deploy this policy, right? I'm going to deploy this to personal devices, right? All personal devices. Okay. And this is BYOD devices. So what is all personal devices? Let's see that in the Azure AD groups, right? All personal devices. So this is one of the thing I mentioned you previously also, right? Whenever I deploy a policy, I normally check the AD group members, Azure AD group members, right? So that is the correct group. Then I will say applicability rules. I don't require that for this, and I will say create, right? So now we have deployed a password policy for my Windows 10 Azure AD, sorry, Azure AD registered devices, right? So I don't know which device is this. Let me check that. Okay, this is Intune 4, and let me check who are my. Okay, this is local user, right? Even though it is local user, it might ask me to change the password now of the local user, local now, right? Because young and if you want to use your company software, if you want to like access mail or Skype or Teams, then you need to change your password, local user password, right? That is the policy it is coming. So basically, all if I understand, you don't need to refresh policy for this. It will automatically it will automatically get applied normally in normal scenarios, right? So let's wait for couple of minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask because it's already yeah 8:30, almost 8:30. Any questions on today's topic?
So hi Anup, this is Rajesh.
Hey Rajesh.
So my question is regarding for the Windows update. Like if I create new ring, right? Ring one for the April month, right? And another ring for every month, like May, June, July.
You don't create another ring for every month, right? Just need to create ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, ring 4 initially. Ring 1 will be your pilot users, and ring 2 will be your IT pilot users or IT department, right? Ring 3 will be your half of your organization, and ring 4 will be your entire organization, and that will ring that those rings will continue for entire year or entire lifetime of those devices.
Okay. So every month I don't require to create the ring, right? For the
Th-
yes,
this is this is one time activity.
okay. And like a like a I have like a there is some bad patch has been pushed all of the machines. So what do I need to create the uninstall, like I need to create an install for the Windows quality updates. So when
Have
I
you have you been part of the previous videos?
yes, but my question is like like a if I click on the uninstall for the quality update, it will uninstall for all of the quality update, or it will be uninstalled for or the last month, or maybe last 2 months or last 3 months.
Yeah, it depends on the uninstall period which is available, right? So if you installed the quality updates within 20 days, last 20 days, it will uninstall all those quality updates, right?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
If you have any questions, right, please feel free to ask in forum, right? Forum.howtomanagedevices.com. That would be helpful for others also, right? Because these are really interesting questions, and probably a lot of other people are looking for answers for this question, so you can help them also, right? Thank you anyways.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No questions. Okay, so let me see. in the company portal something is coming or not. Devices. If I see devices, everything is complaint now. Okay. So let's see how much time it is going to take to get that policy down to the device, right? Okay, it still says pending. Let's see. Let's see what is going to happen. We will continue tomorrow from here, right? So we will see like what is happening on the Windows 10 Azure AD registered device, right? Tomorrow, and see like what we can do, or how we can understand whether the policy is deployed or applied on the Windows 10 Azure AD registered device. Okay, if you don't have any other questions, we can finish this for today. Last chance to ask question for today. Okay, so thank you all for joining in, and have a nice rest of day, and bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.